Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. First of all, many congratulations to the New Zealand cricket team for their historic first ever Test series win in India after all these years. I can remember when I was a kid growing up in the 70s when India won its first ever series win both in the West Indies and England. And it was a matter of great joy and pride for all of us kids and so many others who used to follow the game. And I'm sure the New Zealand cricket fans and others in the country will have a similar feeling for having achieved something which looked impossible all these years. And you know what? They earned it. They really outplayed India in all departments of the game: batting, bowling, fielding, captaincy, management, and everything else. They came prepared for this series and they did a tremendous job. In the aftermath of this series loss by India, the scribes in India, the pundits, have started their rambling once again, and they're calling for the heads of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Guys, in Indian cricket, there have been four Hall of Fame batters. Let's take on the first one, Sunil Gavaskar. I still remember after the great career which started in 1971 and peaked in 1979, Sunil had a bad phase for 3 or 4 years. The tour to Australia in 1980 and New Zealand after that, he struggled. And again, when the West Indies came to India in 1984, I still remember Malcolm Marshall got him out in the Kanpur Test match with a real snorter. The ball just came off from just short of a length and took Sunil on the handle of his bat, and the ball flew to Winston Davis at backward short leg when Sunil was out. I can tell you something, if there was any other player who was facing at the time, he would be in the hospital. That's how good Sunil technically was, even at that stage of his career, that he managed to get that ball bang in the center of his handle. That's how good he was. But what happened after that? All the pundits and the scribes in India started saying Sunil was done. He cannot play fast bowling. You should bat down the order. And Sunil took it personally because you know why? His skills might have declined, but mentally he was the toughest of the tough. And Maninder Singh actually made that comment that in that test match he said, you know what, Maninder, watch out for the next game, and I'll show this guy Marshall how to bat. And guess what? In the very next test match, he scored 100 of 94 balls, which is the fastest 100 at the time by an Indian. And Sunil, normally a defensive player, came prepared to take Marshall on, and he was particularly severe on Marshall. That's the way Hall of Fame players react to adversity. And after that, Sunil never looked back, and until he retired, he was scoring runs at will, both in India and abroad. Take the case of Sachin Tendulkar. 2005, 6, 7, especially after the surgeries he had on his elbow. He had a tennis elbow, if you remember. Then he had hand surgery. He had some shoulder issues. And he wasn't really playing to the expectations which people came to expect of him. And I still remember a veteran commentator, Ian Chappell, of all people, asked Sachin to look in the mirror, and which was really comical to ask Sachin Tendulkar to look in the mirror. This is a Hall of Fame player guy, and that was just that particular comment by Ian Chappell inspired Sachin, and he went on and on and on. He had the second wind when he scored double centuries and centuries at will. And I remember in South Africa in 2011 when he had played for 22 years of international cricket. This guy scored two centuries in three test matches against the best ever fast bowling attack South Africa ever had with Dale Steyn and Morne Morkel and some other third fast bowler. So this was Sachin for you. This is how Hall of Fame players react when they're criticized. And of course, Rahul Dravid, the third Hall of Famer. This guy was criticized too when after 2006 he had a decline for 2 or 3 years. And guess what? When he went to England in 2011, he scored three centuries on really difficult conditions, on the moving ball, the swinging ball against really good attack with Jimmy Anderson and the rest. And as far as I'm concerned, this was India's greatest ever performance in England. And Rahul Dravid was simply one of the best players to have played swing and seam bowling. That's how good he was. So these are Hall of Fame players. You don't write them off. Writing off Virat Kohli at this time particularly, and even some people are asking for his sacking, which is really ridiculous. he is a Hall of Fame player. Guys, you know what? Anyone likes it or not, from 2014 to 2019, this was the greatest player in the world in all three formats. Yes, his form, his skills might have taken a dip after 2020, but you know what? What he has is mental toughness. Just like the three other guys I mentioned, even if their skills declined, they were mentally very tough. And in fact, the toughness had become tougher. And Virat Kohli belongs to the Hall of Fame also, where you never write him off. He will come back, and he may come back in the next test match. And certainly, I think in Australia and England, he's going to come back. And someone of that caliber will make that call on his own when to retire. You don't tell a Pele or a Michael Jordan to retire. If you remember, Michael Jordan came back and won championships. So, these are Hall of Fame players. You leave them alone, let them make that decision. Pundits and scribes can have a field day, but Virat, you're a champion. You'll always be a champion. As far as Rohit Sharma is concerned, well, there is some merit to that, to the consideration that Rohit Sharma probably is on the decline, and I'll tell you why. Rohit Sharma is a loosey goosey, laid back character. He's not a Hall of Fame player. He's a world class player in his own right, but not a Hall of Fame player. He doesn't have the same mental toughness of a Gavaskar or a Tendulkar or a Kohli or Rahul Dravid. He is different. His mental toughness is of a different kind. He's lazy in he's got lazy mental toughness, I would say. So leave him, leave Virat Kohli away from Rohit Sharma, who's not in the same class as far as I'm concerned. And Rohit also can make his own decision, but Virat Kohli, guys, he's the best. He'll always be my hero. And this is Dr. Raj Desai signing off. Thank you for watching.